Oh boy, come on. All right, let me begin by acknowledging Mrs. Marlene McIntosh, ICAJ Council Member and Conference PR Chairman. Ms. Janet Hummer, also Council Member for ICAJ. Mr. Bruce Scott, immediate past President, ICAJ and ICAC Director for Jamaica. Mr. Anthony Pierre, President, ICAC. Ms. Gail Moore, Conference Chairperson. Ms. Latifah Deer, my Senior Advisor. Ms. Binti over there. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen.
Greetings.
It is great to be able to join you today at your press announcement of the 2019 Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean ICAC Conference. I can confirm that Jamaica is proud to be the host venue for the 37th annual conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean, and the over 600 participants expected to be here from the Caribbean and all over the world. As you know, ICAC is an internationally recognized regional organization dedicated to advancing the interests of accountants and professionals in finance and accounting. I understand that just last year, ICAC reviewed its governance framework to address public accountability management reforms in the Caribbean by adopting the global initiative of the International Federation of Accountants, the IFAC. These initiatives seek to promote high-quality financial accounting and reporting by government to improve transparency and help strengthen the public sector financial management and accountability. We know what the benefits of public accountability management are: better allocation of resources, greater efficiency, greater accountability, and improved economic performance, which leads to a better quality of life. For these and other reasons, it is certainly good to be among professional accountants today, the real numbers, men and women, who play an integral role in establishing trust in the financial realm. The ICAC conference has selected a theme that is most relevant: navigating global disruption, creating opportunities. In our lifetime, much has been disrupted globally. As an association, your charge is to interpret these disruptions for your clients and give some clarity regarding the opportunities. Researchers at world-renowned McKinsey Global Institute said some time ago, not so long ago, that there are 4 forces shaping the world. And they see these forces as changing global distribution of trade, with emerging markets featured more prominently in the shift, urbanization, technology, and an aging world population. To many of you, these may not be new or difficult to recognize and accept. What is more difficult is grasping the full impact of these forces and their second or third order knock-on effects. For the first force, the shifting global balance is visible in the changing distribution of exports by destination, marked by the rising importance of trade among developing countries. What countries trade has to do with their consumption patterns. You may not know, but American consumers have always led the world in holiday consumption. But now, China's consumers do. Oil. Oil, which is a commodity that you know, is shipped from Congo to China. Soybeans from Brazil are shipped to Malaysia. Indian pharmaceuticals are shipped to Algeria. China's bilateral trade with Africa has grown from about 10 billion in 2000 to nearly 200 billion around about 2012, a little dated, but huge number. 20 years ago, the global trade data showed that a typical traded object may have been a $3 t-shirt. Now it could be a 30-cent bill, a $3 e-book, or a $300 iPhone, US dollars. The USA lead the way in global oil production in 2017 with about 13.4% of the world's total oil output when you take into account the production of biofuels and liquid fuel produced from natural gas, as well as oil production. Saudi Arabia was second, Russia was third. So what does all of that have to do with Jamaica, you may be asking, other than the fact that we do buy oil? Consider that up until the year 2000, the United States exported relatively small volumes of natural gas, and mostly by pipeline to Mexico and Canada. Fast forward to 2017, the United States exported natural gas to 28 countries in the world. But I ask again, what does shifting global trade patterns have to do with Jamaica? On Sunday, December 23rd, 2018, 2 days before Christmas, when all of us were distracted with Christmas shopping, the Observer published a photo of Golar LNG Partners floating storage and regasification unit, Golar 3, at New Fortress Energy's floating storage and regasification terminal, where? In Honourable, Jamaica. I say no more. You understand. In 2017, the United States became a net exporter of natural gas. In 2018, we have a major floating and regasification terminal. Pay attention to the changing global distribution of trade. Your profession can help us to understand the opportunities that will result. The next great force is urbanization. Managing Director for Global Cities said, we are in the midst of one of the greatest human migrations that our world has ever seen, that of humanity migrating from rural areas into cities. The research shows that in China alone, 400 million people have already made this transition. Towns that were once fishing villages grew to mega cities with 10 million or more inhabitants in just 30 years. And this trend is not just happening in China, it's happening on every continent. Cities bring together the full diversity of humanity. Only by tapping the imaginations and skills of all people will we be able to forge a sustainable future for our planet. Our common cities can transform how we live in urban areas for the good of nature and to the great benefit of people in cities. What should chartered accountants make of this trend? The scale of business activities in cities will be more significant. Researchers say that huge consumption growth will be coming from cities that are hard to locate on a map today, in areas such as healthcare, financial services, technology adoption, and education, to name a few of the areas. The level of professional expertise will be more extensive, and companies will need financial know-how and specialized research to help them stay up to date with the change. These are the skills that you possess. Technology. The acceleration in the scope, scale, and economic impact of technology is another disruptive trend. And I know that nobody sitting here today would disagree with that. The difference today is the sheer ubiquity of technology in our lives and the speed of change. A Dobbs report said that 20 years ago, only 3% of the world's population had a mobile phone, and 1% used the internet. Today, you probably know the statistics. 2/3 of the world's population has access to a mobile phone, and 1/3 of all humans are able to communicate on the internet. Technology is creating economic progress for billions, faster than would be possible without mobile internet. Technology is also helping to drive the connectedness of the world through movement of capital, people, and information. The world needs more of the ICAC professionals to interpret and account for the impact of these changes. The last disruptive force that I will touch on is that the world's population is getting older. On this one, we don't have to look too far. Our very own Professor Denise Eldermeyer Shearer from the Mona Aging and Wellness Center at UWI only this week told us that there are about 320,000 persons over age 60, or roughly 12% of the population in Jamaica. She said that these numbers are climbing, and in the context of a simultaneous decrease in the 20 to 60 age group, they hold significant implications for the labor force. She said, it's not only how many are in this age group, it is also its proportion to the population, because we are on our way to being 1 in 4 being over 60. On Wednesday of this week, I saw her at UWI's Research Days exhibition and had a quick moment with her. She said much of her work has been trying to convince policymakers that not only do we have 320,000 on the way to 400,000, because it should be by 2025, it's going to be about 25% of the population that will be over 60. She said, she asked me this question: why are we sending home persons from work at age 60 or even age 65? Why not extend it to 70 or 75? With more people living longer and in comparatively better health than in previous decades, Dr. Eldermeyer is advocating for more employment opportunities for persons over 60. This is a significant force. This we do know. The new world will be richer, more urbanized, more skilled, and healthier than the one it replaces. I say to you, yours is a profession of high ethical standards, and I can say up front that I believe, and our government believes, that you're doing a very good job as chartered accountants. And you're in essence the profession that holds the tax system and corporate reporting together. You are a big pillar of the Caribbean economy. Indeed, through my role in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, I have come to appreciate that there are two streams of accountants' interaction with the taxation system, and your profession has an integral role in both. First, there is significant tax reform agenda, which the government has been addressing for several years as a result of the macroeconomic and public policy challenges facing the Caribbean. Reforms such as modernization of the tax and customs to improve customer service and make it easier to pay taxes using technology have improved the efficiency of the tax collection system, so the Caribbean people can benefit from a share of the wealth that they collectively own through their government, and at the same time help to address the challenges of attaining faster, greater growth in the Caribbean economy. The importance of your profession to the various reforms are highlighted in several tax reform recommendations made by the ICAJ and the private sector in Jamaica, and one such recommendation was to shift from direct taxes to indirect. And based on this recommendation, you know the government increased the tax threshold to Jamaican 1.5 million, reducing income tax to zero for a large percentage of the working population. The result, since the implementation, has been both direct and indirect taxes have been buoyant and continue to overperform budget, despite there being no new taxes in fiscal 2018-19. Secondly, there's an equally significant role of government in managing what I would like to call the integrity of the tax and customs system. In the same way that the government in the Caribbean face many challenges in a world that is rapidly changing, so too are the accountancy professionals in the Caribbean bombarded with many challenges. Some challenges are worthy of mentioning. These are the new forms of regulation, such as the changes in taxation regimes, transfer pricing, base erosion and profit shifting, anti-money laundering, counter-terrorism financing. We have issues of de-risking by correspondent banks, and then we have the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act. And just like those people and businesses that innovate, learn, develop, and evolve as society progresses, the tax system must be flexible and willing to evolve in order to keep pace. People are constantly adapting to complicated society. It is your profession, and both government and individuals, that both government and individuals turn to for advice and how to maintain and navigate. Families and business turn to you when their financial vehicles are broken, or when they want to deal with other of their affairs. I am awed by the enormity of what you do. You are a profession that is much valued and thought about by purveyors of public policy, and so I am glad I am here. To this end, the conference topics invite vibrant discussion, and I was happy to get a preview of some of those topics. And already I'm calculating in my mind the sessions that I'd like to be at.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm pleased to learn as well about your keynote speaker. It sounds very exciting, and that you'll be bringing good information to you. Bottom line, having this conference in Jamaica, I can guarantee that it's going to be a really great time with wonderful warmth and hospitality like nowhere else. I therefore look forward to welcoming all participants to Kingston from June 20th to 22nd for the 37th annual conference of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Caribbean, as you explore the challenges and opportunities of our changing world. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister Williams. Really timely presentation, and I'd like to you reminded us that December 23rd pay attention. While you're busy with Christmas, something else was happening. At this moment, the president of the